Good afternoon. We'll now start our pep talk. As a reminder, please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include names of companions attending. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There will be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk. So please show your beautiful faces in the video. Another reminder, please take the online learning cum evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this one shown here. I'll place the link in the chat box. Another reminder, obtaining 50 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a free ROJoson telemedical consultation, like this one. Another request, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the pep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please show your video. Please turn on your video and show your beautiful faces. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk on May 15, 2021. There are 3 courses in the pep talk. I completed the core course on October 9, 2021. From October 23, 2021 onwards, I have been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. This may take 3 years or longer, depending on our enthusiasm and perseverance. My pep talk today is entitled Cancer Survivorship and National Cancer Survivors Day. This is in consonance with the Department of Health Health Awareness Calendar. In the first Sunday of June, there will be a celebration of the National Cancer Survivors Day. The empowerment objective for this particular pep talk is for the lay people to have an essential understanding of cancer survivorship in their health management. Here are the contents of this particular pep talk. National Cancer Survivors Day in the Philippines and abroad, ROJoson background story and advocacy, philosophy and concept, cancer survivor, cancer survivorship, phases of cancer journey, common experience among cancer survivors, the need for continuous cancer survivorship care, and lastly, how to contribute to the cause or advocacy of cancer survivorship. I became aware of the presence of the National Cancer Survivors Day in the Philippines only this year, 2023, when I was looking at the DOH health calendar to guide me in preparing for my ROJoson pep talk during the year. I was happy to see the inclusion of National Cancer Survivors Day in the DOH health calendar. I tried to trace when DOH started having this in its calendar. I just found records on 2022. Thus, it seems it started in 2022. Since 2014, every April 9 in the Philippines, on my own, I have been commemorating April 9 as the Araw ng Kagitingan, Day of Valor, as well as Cancer Survivors Day, to commemorate the bravery of cancer survivors, as well as those of the soldiers who fought in Bataan for the independence of the Philippines. Note the DOH started celebrating the National Cancer Survivors Day only in 2022 versus 2014 in my case. I have this picture in my blogs commemorating April 9 as the Araw ng Kagitingan, the Day of Valor, as well as the Cancer Survivors Day. In April 9, 2014, I was proposing that April 9 should also be considered as the National Cancer Survivors Day in the Philippines. I was thinking, April 9 is the Araw ng Kagitingan or Day of Valor, commemorating the bravery of the soldiers. For sure, there is bravery in my cancer survivors and other cancer survivors. I was asking myself, why not use April 9 to commemorate the bravery of cancer survivors as well? That is, if there is no official date for such purpose. I searched the internet for information that would answer my queries and that would bolster my idea. There has been no Cancer Survivors Day or a day that commemorates the cancer survivors in the DOH calendar until lately, 2023, 2022, and I am happy when I learned this. But there is a National Cancer Survivors Day in the United States being celebrated every first Sunday of June. It started in 1988. It was established and being maintained by the National Cancer Survivors Foundation, Incorporated, a nonprofit organization. Though it is mainly celebrated in the United States, the National Cancer Survivors Day Foundation is attempting to grow its popularity in other countries. On my own, I have 3 activities or projects. Every first Sunday of December, through the ROJoson Cancer Crusaders Club annual Christmas get-together since 1988. The second activity is the My Cancer Survivors Registry, through tracking, updating, and online publishing since 2011. And as mentioned, every April 9 commemorating Cancer Survivors Day through online media at the very least since 2014. The National Cancer Survivors Day abroad and at present. So the National Cancer Survivors Day is an annual treasured celebration of life that is held in hundreds of communities nationwide and around the world. It is a celebration for those who have survived, an inspiration for those recently diagnosed, and a gathering of support for families, and an outreach to the community. Participants unite in a symbolic event to show the world that life after a cancer diagnosis can be meaningful, productive, and even inspiring. Cancer survivors face ongoing, often long-lasting hardships because of their disease. These include long-term physical and emotional side effects, increased risk for second primary cancers and other health problems, and potentially devastating financial setbacks. On National Cancer Survivor Day, we want to raise awareness of these challenges of cancer survivorship. The National Cancer Survivors Day is a celebration, but it's more than that. It is also a call to action for further research, more resources, and increased public awareness to improve the lives of cancer survivors. So, National Cancer Survivors Day in the Philippines, okay, it should have the same philosophy and concept as that abroad or those abroad. Okay, it should be a celebration of those cancer patients who have survived, an inspiration for those recently diagnosed, the gathering of support for families, and an outreach to the community. It should increase public awareness to improve the lives of cancer survivors through a well-defined cancer survivorship program, knowing that cancer survivors face ongoing, often long-lasting hardships because of their disease. These include long-term physical and emotional side effects, increased risk for second primary cancers and other health problems, and potentially devastating setbacks. So the National Cancer Survivor Days in the Philippines should have the same philosophy and concept as those abroad or globally. Now let's go to a definition of the cancer survivor. There's so many definitions on this. One could be any person diagnosed with cancer from the time of the initial diagnosis until his or her death. Another definition, patients who have completed their cancer treatment and now living through and beyond their cancers. Another definition, surviving, thriving, and navigating their life experiences and challenges resulting from their cancer diagnosis. Another definition could be it's a stage where chances of recurrence are low based on track records of specific cancers. In general, 10 years is being used as the cutoff. If after 10 years there's no recurrence, then the patient with the cancer can be called cancer survivor based on this definition. The phrase cancer survivor can mean different things to different people. The starting point, however, is a cancer diagnosis. Afterwards, it includes people who have no signs of cancer after finishing treatment, people receiving extended treatment over longer period of time to control the cancer or reduce the risk of its return, people with advanced cancer, and people with recurrence. Not everyone who has had cancer uses the word survivor. For some people, this term doesn't feel right. They may feel more comfortable defining themselves as a person who has had cancer, a person living with a cancer, or another way. Cancer survivorship is a term which usually refers to people or patients navigating their life experiences and challenges resulting from their cancer diagnosis. It focuses on health and well-being of the person with a cancer from the time of diagnosis until the end of life. So this includes the physical, mental, emotional, social, and financial effects of cancer that begin at diagnosis and continue through treatment and beyond. So the other term that is akin to cancer survivorship is the so-called cancer journey. Dr. Mulan identified 4 seasons of survival. One is acute survivorship. Second is the transitional survivorship. 3 is the extended survivorship. And 4, permanent survivorship. In acute survivorship, this includes the time of the diagnosis, which usually carries a lot of shock on the part of the patient, and then the treatment. Transitional survivorship, when the treatment has ended, but survivors may still feel anxious, depressed, and isolated as they engage in watchful waiting to see if the cancer will return. Extended survivorship comes in 3 forms. One form is the cancer-free. There's a treatment-free remission. Second, the patient has maintained remission, staying cancer-free due to ongoing therapy. And then lastly, living with a cancer as a chronic advanced disease that requires continued treatment. So these are the 3 forms under the extended survivorship. Permanent survivorship has 4 subgroups, which include survivors who are cancer-free and asymptomatic. This is the best. Are cancer-free, but with long-term late problems such as fatigue and depression. Develop develop second cancers unrelated to the earlier treatment. And then this is the third type. The fourth type will be they have secondary cancers related to earlier treatment. I have classified cancer journey into four phases: phase of diagnosis, phase of treatment, during, right, or soon after the treatment, phase after treatment, in remission, phase when there is recurrence of cancer, and then the phase during the near end of life. What are the common experiences among cancer survivors? But the bottom line is that cancer survivors face ongoing, often long-lasting hardships because of their cancer diagnosis. So this include long-term physical and emotional side effects, increased risk for second primary cancers and other health problems, and potentially devastating financial setbacks. So this can be summarized in all these experiences: fear of death, recurrence, anxiety over physical image, physical, social functioning, and expenses. So here, because of this anxieties, the fear of death, there is a need for continuous cancer survivorship care. The cancer survivorship care is essentially assisting persons with cancers on how to live a life with cancer, and how to live or continue to live a functional and meaningful earthly life after a cancer diagnosis. For the cancer survivorship care, there are three parts: medical care during the cancer treatment in the acute phase, recovery phase, rehabilitative phase, recurrence phase, and near end of life phase, okay, usually by the physicians. And then the second part will be the patient-empowered self-care during the cancer journey. And the last one, the third part, will be the supportive care given by relatives and friends to patients with cancer throughout their journey. So the cancer survivorship care should be a multi-partnership care. It can be a combination of medical care and patient-empowered self-care, or it can extend to the presence of the caregiver giving the care, medical care plus patient-empowered self-care and caregivers. What are my tips for the cancer survivor medical care? I would suggest that all cancer patients should have one holistic coordinator or oncologist who is not biased with his subspecialty, and who is well-rounded, and who is compassionate, and who can take care of cancer patients all the way up to near end or end of life. Number two, the patients should keep all the medical records, as these are very important in the continuous medical management. And then lastly, they should be empowered as a patient. My advice on patients living with cancer: number one, acceptance of the cancer diagnosis. Number two, intentional living plan in the light of cancer. Number three, in the light of cancer diagnosis. Number three, trust in competent and compassionate physician. Spiritual trust, support from loved ones and significant others, and cancer journey sharing. How to contribute to the cause: advocacy of cancer survivorship. As a layperson and as a health professional. As a layperson, be an advocate, educate your community of people, relatives, friends, work, colleagues, etc. So we have as a layperson, you have to understand cancer survivorship processes. And then provide compassionate assistance to cancer patients you know or you don't know in whatever way you can, such as educational support, meaning patient empowerment on cancer issues, moral support, and financial support. As a layperson, if you have cancer, connect with other cancer patients like you to provide support to them as well as mutual support. Then share your survivorship story. By sharing your story, be it a personal mantra or other words of encouragement, you can help others feel less alone as they navigate their cancer diagnosis. As a health professional, be an advocate, educate the public. So again, the health professional should understand what cancer survivorship processes entail. Then the health professional should provide compassionate assistance to cancer patients in whatever way they can in terms of educational support, moral support, and financial support. As a health professional, take myself as an example. I have formed and encouraged cancer support groups such as the Cancer Crusaders Club, and I have encouraged patients to share their cancer journey. On a daily basis, I have provided compassionate humanitarian services to cancer patients who consult me. April 9 through online media at the very least since 2014. But starting 2023, it will now be in June, national, on the day that DOH has declared as the National Cancer Survivors Day. Then, on the daily basis, on the first Sunday of December through the ROJoson Cancer Crusaders Club annual Christmas get-together. I've started this since 1988. My Cancer Survivors Registry through tracking, updating, and online publishing since 2011. So this is a picture of the first annual Christmas get-together of the Cancer Crusaders Club established in December 4, 1988. The primary objective of the Cancer Crusaders Club meeting is the psychosocial support and therapy. Showing another picture of the gathering of the Cancer Crusaders Club. The annual year-end meeting of the Cancer Crusaders Club are traditionally being held on the first Sundays of December. This was the latest last year, 2023, through the Zoom online. And then cancer journey sharing since 1988 up to now. So these are snapshots of cancer journey sharing from 1988 to 2019, from in 2020, and then 2021. So these are the people who shared their cancer journey, and then 2022 last year. Regarding Cancer Survivor Registry, I have published this in the Google Sites, WordPress.com, and in Facebook. This is to give inspiration to other cancer patients. As of May 2, 2023, I have a registry of 168 cancer survivors who have been in remission for 10 years or more under my care. Some pictures of the cancer survivors. Summary and takeaway, I have discussed all these topics: National Cancer Survivors Day in the Philippines and abroad, ROJoson background, story and advocacy, philosophy and concept, cancer survivor, cancer survivorship, phases of cancer journey, common experiences among cancer survivors, the need for continuous cancer survivorship care, and lastly, how to contribute to the cause or advocacy of cancer survivorship. Takeaway in relation to patient empowerment: be always in touch with reliable medical information on cancer survivorship. Knowledge is power, it gives power. Use the 4 Ks of patient empowerment: kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, and kapangyarihan, to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions in cancer survivorship issues in one's health management. This ends my pep talk today. I hope I have empowered you, the lay people, to have an essential understanding of cancer survivorship in your health management. Before we go to the question and answer section or for part of this pep talk, as a reminder, please take the online Learning Curve evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this. 50 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a free ROJoson telemedical consultation. Another request will be please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the question and answer and interactions.